Hey, what up YouTube? It's your boy DJ No Sleep, and you probably already know I've been known to cut it up, but did you know I can help you fix your Xbox 360? If you got the red ring of death, you know what I'm talking about. The 3 red spaces in your little green circle there. It's sometimes fixable. I'm going to show you how. I got this Xbox right here. Had the red ring of death. I just finished taking it apart and fixing it. I'm going to show you guys how to fix it right here. And what I'm talking about is the little 3 rings right here. If you've got that, never fear. Don't worry, this does not involve towels. If you wrap your Xbox in towels, you're probably going to just end up making a mess. Either you're going to fry the inside of the Xbox, or even worse, you could fry the outside of your house. And if you light a fire in your mom's basement, she's probably going to kick you out. And then, I mean, how many people are going to let a 27-year-old live in their basement for free? Not really too many, so you're going to be SOL. So don't wrap towels around Xbox no matter what anybody says. Just follow my lead here. Now, also, I'm assuming you know how to get the Xbox apart, meaning get the plastic cover off of here. If you can't do that on your own, you better look on YouTube and do it, because I'm not going to show you how to do that. This is a little bit complicated. If you can't figure out that, here's what you're going to need to fix your Xbox. A star-shaped screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, some needle nose pliers, and some thermal paste. Looks like this. This is actually the silicone kind. Recommend the silicone kind, not the silver, but you can use the silver if that's all you can get. Get that at like Radio Shack. It'll cost under $5. Come back after you got all that stuff and have the lid off your Xbox, and we're down to some bare metal. Alright, I told you to come back when your Xbox looks like this. You already took the lid off, and now you see a whole bunch of screws. And if you notice, the bottom piece does not actually come off at this point. You know, you can see all the screws and the lid and everything, but don't even worry about trying to take it off from the bottom. Everything you need is on this side. And you see 2 different types of screws. They're actually 2 different sizes, and there's, or should I say 3 different. There's the short black ones in the middle, and then there's some gold ones and some silver ones on the outside. The gold ones are also short, but the silver ones are long, like you can see. Anyway, take out every screw that you see here. And the screwdriver size, I think it's T9, but the black screws and the gold screws are 2 different sizes. But I'm using the same screwdriver to take out both of them, and it's working for me. So just take all those screws out all the way around. Alright, now that you got all those screws off, flip it over. You see right here. And it's actually kind of simple. You just take the eject button off. Take it off from that side real carefully. And if you can't pop it off like that, just use a screwdriver or something, get under it, flick it off. And actually you'll see that the top is no longer on there. Just pull that right off. We're looking at the guts now. Alright, your next thing to do is very carefully lift the DVD drive out. There's 2 clips on the back. Unplug it from the unit, not from the board. Just unplug it right here from the DVD unit. And you'll need to take off the vacuum unit, which just routes the air from the fan to the heatsink. So take like a screwdriver, something, get it in here. It just pops up like that. Take that off. Now we're looking at the guts. Disconnect the fan right here. It's just a little clip. Unplug it. Now here's the point where a lot of people are not going to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this. Hello, can you see me right here telling you this? Be careful of static electricity. This is a motherboard, just like a computer. You need to ground yourself out to something. Use like a static grounding bracelet. Shock off on something, you know, just be careful. Don't be dragging socks across the carpet and run and touch this, because if you pop it once, you're probably done. You're going to fry those sensitive chips on there. So be very careful that you discharge any static electricity from yourself. I'm touching the bed over here, I'm touching some metal over here, and I think I'm good. The next step after you've done this is flip it up, and you can see right here, this white part just pops off. You take the cover off the power button right there. Pops off. You got 3 more of the same screws. Just take those off right quick. Now you got that off. Just pops off. See, it plugs in on that side. So now that you got that off, you're pretty far along here. Just set it down and you can actually just pop the whole motherboard out. Be careful when I say about static electricity, please. So get that case out of the way. Save that for later. Here we're looking at the motherboard. You can see there's obviously two giant heat sinks, one right here and one right here. And that's where part of the problem is. Just flip this over and you see two X clamps. X1, X2. Well, you gotta get those off of there. And you'll see, it's kind of hard to show in the video, but you'll see how they're attached. They're kind of like popped on so that they're all on there. And you have to kind of pop one off. I've seen people use a hook, try and use a flathead screwdriver. Don't do that. Just use a pair of pliers. I got a pair of needle nose pliers right here. Just take the tip of them right on the outside and rotate it clockwise so that you're popping the end out and the end will come right off. Yep, there it goes. Get that one off, pop this one off. Do the same thing with two of them, and after you get two of them off, you can kind of just slide the whole thing over that way a little bit, pop that one off, get the last one off. Now do the same thing on the other side. Pop. Now you got to kind of hold the short one so it doesn't fall. You don't want to drop that. Alright, got that one off. There's your two heat sinks right there. Now you'll see there's the chips that they were on. And one of the problems here is that the design doesn't really allow for the thermal paste that's in there to stay in there how it's supposed to. And you can see on the edges right here.
See how all the thermal paste is around the outside there and there. And it's actually even, I've wiped this Xbox off already once, but it's actually even leached out onto some other parts. You can see some of the small parts.
Right in here, it's all over these and all over those.
What you need to do is try and clean that off of there. Just try and pick it off with your fingernail. Use something. Be very gentle. Those are actually electrical parts. If you break one off, then it's not going to work anymore. But use like your fingernails. Very softly scrape most of that off.
Alright, it's good to go. Now first, we're going to put the short one back on. We clean that off. Now, take your thermal paste and we need to reapply it. Don't forget which way to put them on. Obviously, there's a square on there that shows that the big one goes over here and the taller one goes over here. Just put a little dab on the middle of there and just spread it all over. You can use your finger. Spread it. You don't want to use too much because it'll run all over. And that's like, you can tell that this Xbox was vertical because it ran not out, but it ran down one way only, so they had it sitting that way. And I mean, that might be part of the reason. Maybe Microsoft is telling you that you can stand them up vertical, but you really can't. Anyway. Just got that on there. Now, put the heatsink back on. Turn it over. Get my X clamp back, and you see there's a point in the middle, and that actually presses the board onto the heatsink right at